end of eras, ice has melted back to life. Done my time and served my sentence. Dress me up and watch me die. If it feels good, tastes good, it must be mine. Dynasty decapitated, you just might see a ghost tonight. And if you don't know now, you know. I'm taking back the crown. I'm all dressed up and naked. I see what's mine and take it. Oh, yeah, the crown.
All right, we are live. This is a special show that we're doing tonight. Before we get started too much into this, go ahead and let me know in the comments if you can see and hear me okay, and we will continue on with that. But it is Friday the 13th, and we wanted to do a special show because this is not Thursday, this is not Monday, and this is not Saturday, so it's not my regular show dates. And we are looking at doing something a little bit different because this is the only Friday the 13th of the year, so we're going to have some fun with this. So let me make sure everything looks like it's going through over here. Yeah, we look like we're good. So let's go ahead and get this started. I've got a guest on here tonight that loves horror just about as much as anybody else that's out there. Done a lot with some of the stuff that's in there. Been a great guest in the past. Has a lot of things that's been going on in my absence. And we wanted to kind of talk and reminisce on that. And some other things may be brought up as well. You never know. So let me go ahead and bring out my guest. This is Justin Hunt.
Hey, DemoNation, how are you?
What's up, Justin?
Opening music, you know, I thought I was going into a rock concert.
We do have fun with that, yes. And yes, I do own the licensing for that. And it's funny because I played that for the first time yesterday, and I got 3 emails sent to me by the company that owns, you know, that I bought that license from. And they said they intercepted people trying to go ahead and put claims on it already. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the good stuff.
That is good. That is good.
It's always better to go ahead and pay for it, have the license in hand, than having to worry about it. It just, yeah, it's a good thing.
100%.
But yeah, we're going for the new energy on the shows and everything, and a new look and a new style. And that's kind of why I did the show that I'm doing tonight. Of course, you know, it fell on a great day for it as well, Friday 13th.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we get started into all this, though, I want to go ahead and let everybody know who you are. So go ahead and take just a moment and let them know who you are, what you do, and where to find you.
So who am I? I am Justin Hunt. I am a professional comic book illustrator. I've done a couple small sequentials, but mostly I do covers for Source Point Press, Big Dog Inc., Codex Entertainment, Coffin Comics, Mountaineer West. I've done some stuff for Ryan Kincaid for his Persuasion series, Niobe, Jengar and Shred, a bunch of stuff for Mad Cave Studios. I'm just looking behind me because those are a bunch of the ones, so I'm trying to remember everybody. I've also done paintings for the NFL and Major League Baseball, and I've done some of the players, and I've done lots of commissions. So that's the art side of it. I think right here I put it, Art of Justin Hunt, on Instagram. It's the easiest way to see this stuff. I'm also on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook page. You'll see one out there, but I don't have access to it. And then I dabble in movie production now. We'll probably chat about that a little bit later. But we are here today. This is my inner sanctum sanctorium. It's the nerdery. It's everything nerd that you can think of shoved into one place. And this is where we do it. So, and then got some whiskey for today so we can get through the show.
There you go. Whatever it takes to get through the shows, go ahead and use it.
Yep. So anyway, that's who I am in a artistic nutshell. But I'm just happy to be on board and chat with you tonight. I've been on 4 times before, I think.
So yeah, it's been quite a few times. I've had you on HELLUVAShow as a guest, and then I've had you on Unscripted several times.
Yeah, so probably more than 4. So
yeah, but I mean, they've always been good shows, and we've always had good talks and everything. What I'm doing more recently is trying to delve more into who the creators are, more so than what they're actually working on. I mean, we'll talk about that, of course, but it's more about who's behind it and what drives that passion on doing that.
Sure.
One thing that I want to bring up, you brought up about the nerdery, because that is something that I definitely wanted to go ahead and bring up, because you show posts and pictures and things that are going on, and there's a lot there. I mean, we don't have enough time in the show, so don't get excited out there if you're watching this. We do not have enough time to go through all this. But
There's
I
a lot.
want to say that this show is not sponsored by anybody or anything you see behind him.
Nope.
But one of the big ones that I would love to have sponsored, if we could, and maybe because he's bought so many of them, we might be able to have a chat at least.
Lego. So just going to my right, I'm working on a giant Hoth battle set. And then you can't really see it because it's on the other side of me. Let's see if I can turn my computer. But this is part of my collection. And then I have 15 more kits I still have to build. And then my wife said I can go ahead and get the Millennium Falcon soon too. So we're going to drop a couple bucks on that. So if you want to sponsor me and support my Lego addiction, you can find me here, order some art, and help keep me out of trouble with her. And let me buy some stuff. So yeah, I got a couple of Legos here and there.
There you go. And it's funny, and like I said, we're definitely going to be talking about your art because we want you to be able to get more Legos, even though you're already behind on what you're already building.
Yeah.
But in going back to the Legos, there was one particular post that got my attention. And it's one of those things where I'm like, they've got to know you by name by now because of what they did. But you opened up one of the packages, if I'm not mistaken, it was the one you showed to your right. The
AT-AT?
Yes.
Yeah.
Missing some pieces, and they ended up sending you, was it a whole thing more, or just the stuff you're missing, or?
You just go online, and as a VIP, you just go online and you put in some information, and they take the parts that you need, and they ship them off to you from wherever they make them.
Nice.
So
because I know you had mentioned something about doing one that was standing and one that was like busted up on the ground or something, is the way you were going to set it up?
I have to get another one. So I need more space, obviously, but I want to have the one. And I also made some speeders. So
nice.
I want to take some of them and actually have it so the one is kind of, as it with the grappling hook around the legs. So it's down. I have 4 ATSTs, the chicken walkers. I got about 75 snow troopers right now. I got 4 Tauntauns and a bunch of rebels, and I'm building out Echo Base. Then I have a whole Tatooine set, and what I want to do is have a large set, so it's Tatooine on one side and Echo Base, and where they blend is a Millennium Falcon, so half of it is in the hangar and Echo Base, and the other half is in Mos Eisley. So that's the big plan, but we'll see what happens.
Nice.
But
well, the way that happens,
the Lego store does know me.
Yeah, no kidding. And the way that he's going to be able to get to that point is if everybody will go over to his link that he's got right there, and just let everybody know the links are embedded in the feed. So all you got to do is go look in there. All of his links are in there, along with a couple of other things that are in there kind of talking about, because we've got the movies we're going to be discussing as well and getting into that, but that's a little bit later. We're saving that.
Sure, we got time.
We are... In discussing about the artwork, one thing that I want to go ahead and bring up is that I have one large piece of OA. I still only have one, even in the time that I've been away from it and everything. It is Justin Hunt's work of Darkness.
Yeah, from Legend. Exactly.
And that thing, I don't even know how to explain. It's pencils that's on there, but I mean, it talks to you, especially, the demon right here. So I had to have it.
Sure.
But it is an amazing piece that you have in there. And I've seen some of the other stuff that you've been working on. I've been kind of watching from afar.
Yeah.
And you've been changing your style up a little bit, doing some different things, different works that you're doing with different people, branching out a little bit. So you're really starting to do a lot more on there. I mean, how many different projects are you working on currently?
Art-wise or total? 9.
Ooh.
I think. In one stage or another.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I just did the the unholy trinity of Coffin Comics as 3 separate pieces, and each one I did it a little bit different style, different technique. And one of the things that kind of spurred me for that is if you look at Coffin Comics, they have a very distinct style for the majority of it. But then Joel Gomez has a totally unique take on La Muerta, and his style doesn't really match the other ones, right? So I was looking at that, and I was looking, and you know, a lot of artists have a very distinct, you look at it and you're like, that is J. Scott Campbell, or that is Rick Hobart, or whatever, right? And I try to diversify and draw based on what either the character speaks to me or what the publisher wants. So I'm trying to be a little bit more broad, which I think might broaden my kind of resume, I guess, and who wants to work with me or have me work with them on the flip side. But yeah, so I've been doing a little bit of different stuff. The La Muerta was all black and white with 3 different gray tones added to it. That one was really fun. I was trying to challenge myself to use more chiaroscuro, you know, the balance, the positive negative space, black and white. Then I did the Hell Witch, which I only did in pencils. And I did a very different feel for her. More like, hey, because she's super hard and tough, and I want to show like more of a soft side, but she's still tough, right? And then the Lady Death was just, I went kind of all out on what does Lady Death look like as a badass. And then I added different colors to it. And actually Beth King has the original inks, and I think she likes them. I'm super happy with that one. The pencils are on the wall over there.
Well,
So.
I mean, like you said, you're very diverse in what you're doing. You're starting to expand and grow and doing different styles that are out there. I remember a certain unscripted where you changed your style quite a bit and drew Demon Phil with boobs.
Yeah, that was a 15-second sketch. Yeah, it was actually 3 boobs, 2 in the front and then the head. I remember that.
Oh, if you haven't seen that one, you laughed.
Chrissy's shin was on that one.
Yes, she started all that. Yes.
Yeah, and I actually went to a convention a month and a half ago, and she was there too. And you want to talk about a woman who's a hoot? Get her started.
Oh yeah.
What you see is her.
Yeah.
She's not an act. That is Christy. So be prepared. If you ask her how she's doing, be prepared.
That's why I can't wait to get out in the actual physical world and start meeting everyone that I've been dealing with for the past 3 years now. Because you can have a persona that's on here and then you can be somebody different away from there. But I like to think that after 3 years, especially of talking to the ones who have been, regulars on my shows, or I've talked to, off of camera quite a bit and things, that it doesn't change whenever you see them physically. And I can definitely tell that Christy would be one of those that would be like that. I would think that you would definitely be one of those as well. I can't see you being the shy, quiet one whenever I meet you.
No, I have a bit of an A personality. That's for sure. But I mean, I'm an observer. When I'm in a new group, I like to be part of groups, but I kind of watch how everybody else is. And then depending on where we're at and what's going on, my New Jersey will kick in and some attitude with it. So,
well, let's go ahead. We talked about some of your art. We're going to put some up on the screen. And no, we are not putting Demon Phil with boobs. That is not in this list. Sorry, it's not here.
Not this one. Man, this one is this one breaks my heart right now, actually. This was a commission. I sent it off 4 weeks ago to an individual, and he hasn't received it yet. We checked with UPS or the USPS. It's at a shipping facility somewhere, but they cannot find it. Oh. And it breaks my heart right now. So, but it was, he wanted Lady Death as a rock star. So I did a little bit different, tapped into my Lita Ford. She was on my wall growing up.
Oh yeah. I mean, on a lot of walls. Yes.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure.
I can neither confirm nor deny said statement, but yeah, a lot of walls.
Yeah. So, um, and if you want to talk about any of these, let me know. But if
Oh,
not, I'll
absolutely.
just
I'm
try
just letting
to.
you go ahead and say what they are, and then I'm going to kind of go around from there.
Yeah. So this one is Source Point Press. They have a book called Good Boy. It's kind of like a German Shepherd John Wick crossover. And I had talked to Frank Gogol and Garrett Gunn once before, and then at Rose City, I talked to him, and then I was like, "Hey, let me work on something." He goes, "Yeah, we'll get back to you." And then I saw him at Emerald City Comic Con, and we struck a bit of a deal. And he's like, "Do something for Good Boy." So I knocked this one out, and then you can see the colored version out there. But this went out to this is Volume 2, Issue 1, and it went out as a retailer thank you. So all the retailers who ordered Volume 2, Issue 1 got one copy of this. So the super, super low run number. But the final color one, he's got like blood on his shirt and the lights coming through the windows and everything. It looks pretty cool.
So I can definitely tell whenever I look at this, even if I didn't know what Good Boy was and what it was about or anything, immediately this torso and everything, that's John Wick right there. You can tell, you can use that for reference. So you did a smashing job. I mean, a bang up job on that.
Thank you. If you look on his lapel, as we're looking at it, his right, but it's his left. I have a little dog bone on there.
Yep.
Just a little, So what I wanted to do is I was going to put originally I was going to do a little picture of John Wick's head on there. Because, John Wick gets pissed off because somebody hurts his dog. So I figured if the dog gets pissed off because somebody hurt John Wick,
there you go.
There's some copyright stuff there. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. You don't want to get involved in that. No.
Mm-mm.
But that's a great looking picture on there. I mean, it's a cool story. If you're not familiar with it, that's out there and you're watching this, I mean, it is a great series that has just started. I believe it's only in issue 2, correct?
It's in volume 2. Volume 2 right now. I'm seeing if I can pull up I'm not very good at sharing online. I don't know how to do it, but I have the colors here somewhere. Bear with me, guys. I'm not as bad with technology as you think I am.
I'll go ahead and drop this down for the time being. If you want to just send that to me in Messenger, I can go ahead and push that up there too.
Oh yeah, I guess I can do that.
That'd be the easiest way.
Oh shite! I don't know.
I try to make it as comfortable as possible.
There it is. All right. So, how do I show that? All right, that should be in your messenger. So
there we go. Let's see what we got here.
So then you can see the inks and the colors side by side. And that piece is going to be 100% my work. So
there we go.
Yeah,
that is gorgeous.
Thanks.
I mean, even on the tie, that's what I can't get over is the blood spatter on everything is great, but whenever you get on to red on red, that can go very, very poorly if you're not paying attention to detail. And you can tell on there that looks exactly like blood. It's almost scarily exactly like it.
So what I wanted to do is if you were to take that tie and straighten it and line it up, the blood goes here on his shirt, then it's white, and then it's there. So it's as if the blood spot here while the tie was there, and then tie, So it's to me, it's the little details that kind of add up. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it definitely paid off in that one for sure.
So yeah, thank you.
Let me bring up the other ones we were looking at, and we can keep going with the other pictures we've got. Let's see. So we've got Good Boy, and now we go to.
That's the most recent version of Lady Death. That's the inks. And what I did was
I cleaned up. I'm done.
Yeah, so there's 3 of them there. So, but if you look at the way I did the magic emanating from her hand, it turns into a skull, and that is a direct homage and ode to Stephen Hughes. He did a cover where she has the vapor coming off her hand that turns into a skull. And then when I inked it, I used green ink for that so that it kind of separates it. And then underneath of her, I did that. And then there's like these little circles on top of circles with little like crosses that glow kind of thing. That's all directly to Stephen Hughes, who's the original Lady Death artist. So that is my tribute, so to speak, of this is what I'm doing now. But when he started in 1994, that's what you could look at it and know that it was his. So this is my nod to him.
And you can tell, I mean, again, it's attention to detail because Lady Death is iconic as is anyway. So whenever anyone is asked to do a Lady Death cover, this is one reason that Brian is so picky about what goes on there, because it can't be a reproduction of the exact same thing. It's got to be something new every single time. And anybody who knows Lady Death brand, there's a lot out there. So you really have to tune into something totally different. And you definitely did with this.
Well, and just to let you and the viewers know, this is not a Lady Death cover. This is, I wanted to have fun and just work on a Lady Death piece.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is just shits and giggles. I wanted to do the three of them and do them each different. So, if you, I don't know if you can zoom or whatever, but the way I did her sword, there's a lot of detail into the sword work. The way the shading is in her legs, how it fades into that.
Right.
The face, I try to make it so it was soft but tough at the same time. The bats is actually a nod to Todd McFarlane, who I'm also influenced by. He did these. Most people do these bats, and it's curved on the inside, right? And he does them where it's like the wings have just no shape. So I was like, oh, this is cool. If I make a mistake, nobody will know because it's just a bat. So it was really fun. The pencils have a lot less bats, and I just kind of started adding more. And the moon has always been a challenge for me, so I keep adding that. But yeah, you can see all the details, how I try to shade it around it and everything to give some texture. Her leg piece right there, the skull right there, I try to put like a metal starred compass behind her to show, I'm a huge Pirates of the Caribbean fan, so that actually is reminiscent of the Aztec gold and stuff like that. So I mean, I took a lot of things that I like and put it into this. So a lot of times people are like, oh, why did you draw XYZ? And there's actually some thought behind some of this stuff too. So
oh yeah. So is this actually available as a print or something like that to get from you?
No. So one of the things with Brian is, unless Brian has approved it, you don't sell it unless it's a commission, right? So what I did was I did commissions last year, and they were going out at Swornfest, and Beth was supposed to get a bigger one, and there were some challenges. So I did this one and said, would you like these inks in lieu? So she has the original inks, the ones that you see, and the pencils are hanging up on my wall. So the Hell Witch is the same way. There's no prints of it, it's just that. And that's a very respectful thing with Brian. He has ownership, and there's a reason he's a success the way he is. And it's a respect to him to, he's given me the opportunity to portray this wonderful, creative, classical character and be part of that family. There's been a lot of Lady Death covers and a lot of Lady Death artists, but to be part of that family is very special to me. And the way I respect that and show that I'm thankful is I don't cross that line.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. Now, I will tell you this. I love this piece. So CC De La Cruz, who actually does the interior cover and did some of my colors already, is coloring this one. So when I have my wall, I will have the pencils, and I will have a colored version, and it'll be the only colored version out there. I'll show everybody, but I'll have it, and nobody else will have it. So, because I was like, I wonder what it would look like with her colors. So
To have the only one, oh yeah, that's
Yep.
yeah.
And also with that is when you ink or pencil, if you're penciling somebody else's inking, you have to pencil to a certain way that you know the inker can interpret. Some like super light, tight lines. But I've worked with CC before, so I know how much I can shade, how much I don't have to, how much she'll read into it, how much she'll modify it. So I inked it with that in mind, that she was going to color it for me. So
Nice. That is nice. And you've done a lot with Lady Death, but you've done a lot of other things as well. I mean, I've actually gotten several of your prints. I mean, that's the only way that I have that we talked about with Darkness.
sure.
There have been some other prints that have been just phenomenal. One of them that comes to mind right off the bat is the Godzilla one.
Oh yeah, with the Ray, the
Yes.
1930s Godzilla. Yeah.
Exactly, because it was a throwback to the older style, but with a newer look. It is a whole different look to Godzilla than I have seen on any other prints that are out there. So it's something that I show off proudly. Actually, it's over here
I
on the side
appreciate
of my
it.
wall.
Thanks. I like that one.
And then here's your Hell Witch.
Yeah. Actually, I've done a lot of covers and a lot of females, right? I love drawing goth and succubus. But her eyes on this one are probably my favorite set of eyes I've drawn in the last 4 years.
Oh yeah.
I wanted them to be like almost like a siren where she's captivating you. Where she's like, if you look on her arm, she's got like these blood marks and everything. And she's just, the other part is I'm a big fan of the Cimmerian. So I gave her the classic Conan pose. She's got blood on her hand and she's just kind of resting like, I just got my ass kicked or I just kicked somebody else's ass, but I still got enough time to look, cool for the paparazzi, right? So, and then the biggest challenge on this one is her other hand. I wanted to make it look like she was just kind of resting. So those are the metal that she has, but I wanted to show that the hand as being feminine but powerful. So there's just enough hint of where the knuckles are and where the tendons are, but not enough that it looks like, she's an over-the-top bodybuilder.
Exactly. And also it shows, I mean, right distance away and everything. It shouldn't be where the hand is so much smaller because it's, a little bit closer and everything, and you actually hit all that right there. Again, attention to detail is there.
Yeah, so that was a super fun one. I hate drawing hair, and I'm getting better at it. And my thanks is Mike DeBalfo. Told me a little hint and trick a couple years ago, and every time I draw, I just hear Mike's talking, and that's how I kind of get through it and keep it loose and everything. But if you look at the way I drew hair, 2, 3, 4 years ago to how I'm drawing hair now, it's getting better. It's not where I want it to be yet, but we're all improving. So that was a super fun Hell Witch, and the inks for this are going to Australia to Haley Anderson in Australia. So yeah,
Nice.
super fun piece.
Well, I personally quit drawing hair probably about 22 years, 23 years ago, something like that. That's whenever I quit drawing hair.
It's okay. It's okay. We just put 2 of them like Homer on top.
Just got to make sure that comb over is just right.
Yep. So speaking of Homer Simpson, when they designed that side, when he first started doing it, that was his trademark. The hair formed the M and the ear formed the G for Matt Groening.
Right.
So a lot of people didn't know that. So
Yep.
This was a commission I did on a blank. And what makes this super unique is I hardly ever do color, like hardly ever. And this is all Copics.
Wow.
Yeah, so I try to get it. So if you look at the body, it's red and blue, but if you get to the head, it's got more like an orange gold because the flash is on the camera. So
right.
But if you zoom in, you can see there's a lot of texture in that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can see that even without zooming in, but whenever you do, you really see the difference.
Yeah, so that was my kind of, just want to do something a little different. Yeah, it was straight Copics, and the white is from a gel pen. So
Nice.
that particular person who has that probably has 6 or 7 Spider-Man OAs from me. That's all he gets is Spider-Man. Oh, and Power Ranger, Spider-Man and Power Ranger. So
Okay. Not a bad collection there. This throws me. This one right here, I'm telling you right now, whenever you sent this in your grouping of everything, before you talk about this, and I was going to go ahead and say, because you sent me a grouping of pictures and you said, here's some stuff to show off on the show. And I got them and I'm like, okay, Lady Death, Hell Witch. Oh, cool. There's a Spider-Man. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And then I found myself just staring at the amount of detail on this. So definitely talk about this, because this is awesome how this came out.
Thanks. So I grew up looking at like the Da Vinci books and Albrecht Dürer and some of those classical artists who did a lot of like anatomy pictures. And I love the feel of texture that you can get with cross hatching. And I'm fascinated with skulls. And I just thought this would be a really cool challenge for myself to take the dark darks and the there's Haley.
Hi, Haley.
Amy says hi, Haley. So I wanted to challenge myself with the dark darks, the absolute darks, and the absolute white. And this is my version of doing that, and the shading allows me to show the dimples and the contours and everything, and I really try to show that there's multiple levels on it. This is 11 by 14, I think, is the original.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done 4 skulls right now, and one guy has 3 of them, and then a lady had me commission. I did a skull wearing a old 1980s Bose headset with the big cables, because he's a ham operator and his code name is Skull 6 or something like that. So,
Okay.
But yeah, that's all with a it's all quill.
That is awesome. I mean, if you look at it, again, we're back there and you're looking at it and you're already going, this is absolutely awesome. But whenever you really dig into the details, I mean, this is just, I don't even have words for it. I mean, it's like you could reach out and touch the picture and feel the picture from where you are. And that's very difficult to do on a monochrome scale like that. And you nailed that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just think that's a cool style. It's time consuming, and for me it's fun because I can do that like mindlessly while I'm watching TV. I just look down and doodle it while I'm doing something else. And I have, I don't know, ADHD of some sort. I can't just sit and draw. I have to have, like, I'll be drawing, then I'll build a Lego, and then I'll have another piece of art, and then I'm watching TV and I'm jamming to the music and I'm playing with the dog, and then I'm back over here, and that's how I operate. So is that skull available? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that one's gone. I'd have to look in the dresser. This is all of the
That's the fun one back there.
it's all the other stuff. Okay. I don't know. It might be back here somewhere or down in one of these bigger drawers. So, and then when we get to it, I'm going to show you a piece of art that I absolutely had to get, and everybody will know who it is when I show it to you.
Cool.
Because I appreciate art also.
Oh, yeah.
That one was because I absolutely love Spawn. And again, I try to show a little bit of diversity, where it's more of the old style to try to tap into McFarlane, but make it mine. So we went from that to
Oh, hang on. You're getting full screen. Just a sec.
this.
Oh, my.
So that is that one.
Wow.
Yeah. And just to let you know, I drew it up and then I sent it over to my buddy, Mr. Lee, and he added all his wonderful techniques. And then we made sure it's blurred to show that the chains are coming forward.
Wow.
And then we just threw the mist and got the glow here and in his eyes and the cape and everything. It was just, I didn't want to put a cityscape or anything. I was just like, I need him, and it looks better in real life, but I wanted him just wherever he is, he's coming through this ethereal kind of hellscape. And that's how I got that one. But yeah, that was a super fun one to do.
That is absolutely awesome. I mean, I'm looking at this one and then looking at that one. And now I'm not saying that there's one that's better than the other by any means, because I'm one of those that absolutely love. I absolutely love seeing the beginnings of everything, whether it's just the imaginary pencils to come up with, whatever on there, just an idea, all the way to the finished product.
Yeah.
It's great to see that. But you brought up a very big point, because if you look at this one, where you have the ethereal magic coming off the hand and stuff like that, it doesn't look, it's there, but it doesn't have that extra pop to it. And then you look at the chain, and it has that much more detail to the chain here. And whenever you go to the other one over there, it loses detail because of it's coming straight at you. It's jumping off of the page.
Yeah.
And I love that change on there. That is awesome.
So, and then this again was just a shits and giggle piece. I know I put it out a while ago, but I'm going to be doing an art book. And what I've seen is a lot of people do this art book, and it's good, bad, or indifferent, right? It's here's a piece, here's a piece, here's a piece. And what I really want to go back and show is here's my original roughs, and here's this, and then here's this, because I'm a big fan of BTS for movies and stuff like that. And I have the art of Drew Struzan, and my favorite parts of his book is how did he do that? Like, I get it. You have a great piece at the end, but thanks, Haley. Yeah, we're working on it. It's gonna be a hardcover, I think. So we I like, people always like the behind the scenes, right? You can make a post on Instagram, but when you're showing how you're doing it, more people tie in, right?
Yep.
Because you get there and you go to an art show and you look and everybody's got this beautiful portfolio, but they don't show you the pack of stuff that they took to get there. And since Haley's on, I'm gonna bring Haley up in this one. 2020 for Big Dog Inks, I did a Mary Magdalene goth cover, right? And Haley has parts of that. And when we did it, all my sketches, my behind the scenes sketches, I neatly packed, and Haley has the original concept art for that cover. And it was just really neat because I was just going to throw it out. And she was really into it, so we sent it to her.
Never throw it out. No.
So yeah. So part of it is to have the book show how does the concept work, and have a little bit of the writings of, I talked to this person. Here's the story of how Brian Polito hired me, and here's how this happened, and here's this. Here's the direction we're going, and also not just my comic art. It'll be some of my stuff for the NFL. It'll be some of the stuff I did for the Army, and some of the stuff I did for private commissions. So it's a little bit of everything. So
very nice. And it's cool to have that stuff that's behind the scenes that kind of shows the foundation of where it started, because it all has to come from somewhere. It all has to start in some place. And a lot of people lose that beginning that's on there, and they're just trying to go towards that finish line. They don't want to actually, document the journey. They want to just put the finish line up there. This is the work that I'm doing now, which is great for a lot of people. But trust me, there are a lot of us out there as fans and followers that we would be amazed to see. This is where Justin started at, 4 years old drawing.
Yeah.
And then now he's to this.
That's what the book has. It has some of the older stuff. It has my Indiana Jones I drew in sophomore in high school in it and stuff like that, right?
Nice.
But talking about the behind the scenes, that Lady Death you showed earlier, I did the roughs in a blue pencil and then a light box to kind of finesse it, and then I worked to the inks. But Ivanette Reyes, who's a friend, she's down in Florida. I sent her the original sketch work, my original roughs, and I said, ink them. So she always wants to be challenged. So I sent her some original pencils and inks, the actual original, here's my work, and said, here you go. Do your thing. Don't make it like the one I did. Make it yours.
Right.
But show me your interpretation of my art. So she was doing the other day, she was doing a practice inking on some other stuff because she doesn't want to ruin it. And I was like, it's just a piece of art. Go ahead and do what you do on it. Because she's a young, hungry artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the responsibility of, I don't want to say my generation, but I've been established for a while, and then there's people who were established way beyond me. Our responsibility is to nurture that and feed that drive, right? She's not competition. The other artists out there are not competition. We're all in this together. And if we all succeed, we move up, right? So that's something really cool that I just, it cost me $12 to mail out a piece of paper. So,
and that's definitely something else that I wanted to bring up, and you just kind of brought it up a little bit early on there, but I'll go ahead and talk about that, is the fact that, like I said, me being in my hiatus, I was only gone away from shows. I couldn't do shows because of, lack of internet, and it wasn't strong enough for everything, but I was watching as much as I possibly could. And one thing that I noticed with you is that a lot of things change with you, within your personal life, within your business life, within things like that. But you've really turned on the mentorship. I've noticed a lot more that you were offering before, but now you're almost to the point where you're like, look, I want you to have this for free. I want to give you some of my knowledge on this. And people are kind of looking at it like, okay, what's the catch? But there's no catch.
No, there's, I'm a big believer. I have a sign at my office, my day job office. It says, be the happiness you want to see in the world. It sounds very cliche, right? It sounds very like, oh, that's just bullshit. But at the end of the day, I remember growing up, and you're always like, man, I wish I had an opportunity. I wish somebody would help me. I wish this. And there's a lot of people who hold everything close because that gives them a sense of power, right? I know how to do this. I'm not going to teach you how to do it. But I have a regular day job. I have multiple revenue streams. I do art because I like it. It happens to pay. Great. That pays for Legos. It pays for that whiskey collection. Right. But at the end of the day, I learned something from somebody else. Right. Why can't I share that? I've sent stuff to Mike DeBalfo. I've sent stuff to Mike Crone, right? And I'm like, the hand's wrong. Help me. And they help me. So if I'm getting help from people who I look up to, why shouldn't I turn around and help others? And I say those who look up to me, but which for me is super surreal, that it's surreal that I can go into a comic shop and people say, I like his stuff, or people collect my art. I still feel like it's not true. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like, wow, people actually like this stuff, but I'm emotionally touched by that, and I want to give back. So if that makes me different, then it is what it is. But I mean, everybody needs a chance. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, absolutely. And you're absolutely correct on all ends with that. And you brought up a huge point earlier about it's not a competition. If anything, I would like to see more people working together to create a bigger spotlight for the indie creators that are out there, because the more they fight with each other, the more that spotlight is pulled away, because it's like, well, we don't want drama, so let's move this back over here to the big two and let them have their, limelight,
Yeah.
we could have more.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, one of the guys I really respect a lot is Ryan Kincaid, him and Shannon. And Ryan has a very distinct art style. Some people love it. Some people are like, it's just this. But I love his art. You can tell when it's Ryan's, but he's always pushing himself as well. But when he creates his books, he created Persuasion, and he's working on con artists and all this other stuff. He's not saying this is Ryan's book. He's saying this is our book. Come be a part of it. And I think it's really cool. So I haven't done anything on con arts, but I've done 3 covers for Persuasion, 4 covers, 3 covers, I don't know, a bunch. But it's always because it's part of that, right? And then you go to a convention, and it's not like, hey, there's the guy I have to outsell. There's the guy that somebody asked me for a commission, and it's like, you know what? Go see him. That's his thing. He'll draw that way better than I can. And I think that's important too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's leaving the footprints out there to show people that it is possible by going ahead and just being respectful. I mean, it's basic morals is what you're going by on this end. It's integrity, it's respect, it's loyalty, it's honesty. I mean, all those things that a lot of people kind of lose sight of because they're focused on the dollar signs. And if you look at dollar signs the whole time, you lose focus of the other ones around you and the other networking that you could possibly do and the other people you could help, not even financially, but just assist. And whenever all's said and done and you do it the right way, those dollar signs show up.
Look, I did a cover for a family that created their own comic series. They were going through a lot of medical and some tribulations at the time. I love the story that they loved comics so much that they tried and they created this book. And I'm not going to say names because I don't want to put them out there like that, right? But I reached out to them and said, I love your backstory. Let me do a cover. And they wrote back and said, we can't afford that. And I said, I didn't ask you to pay me. I said, let me do a cover. So I had a blast. It was one of the most fun covers I've done. And it wasn't because I was trying to make a buck, right? It was because at the end of the day, people are going to see it. Yeah, people are going to see my name on it. Sure, get it. No problem. But small town press, I don't know how many they put on Kickstarter. I don't know how many went through, but it's something that they have, and I can feel good contributing to that. Right. And I've done some covers for a lot of money. I've done some artwork for a lot of money, and I'm not going to give out freebies everywhere, but if you can help somebody here and there, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to help myself more.
Now, while you're doing that, we're going to kind of move away from the art. Oh, here we go. Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a Christmas present from the wife. So and she's driving tonight, so.
Well, there you go. Well, that is actually the next thing that I kind of wanted to talk about very quickly because in my absence, you had a life change that happened over there that you have been absolutely ecstatic about. I mean, I see some of the posts and I'm like, normal people would kind of look at it going, oh my gosh, would y'all just stop already? I'm tired of seeing these posts. But it's cool seeing that because you're showing how you really have a true relationship and you decided to go ahead and get married and things are going well in your life with all of this. And it's cool to see that happiness in people that you know and people that you're around at different times. So congratulations, officially.
Thank you. Yes. Amy is super, super supportive. Matter of fact, she named the nerdery after Tommy Boy scene.
Oh, she's a keeper.
Yeah. So she also says she's not a nerd, but she can quote Princess Bride, and she can quote. So she knew some stuff from Raiders of the Lost Ark. She knew stuff from. Sadly, she doesn't know shit about Star Wars. We're working on that. She knows enough to. She knows enough that she calls Jawas dink dinks. But no, it's been great. She's super supportive. She has a son who's he'll be 12 in 2 weeks. He gets along with my son. So it's really nice. And she's actually here in the nerdery right now too, because we turned a whole side of it into a sewing area. So she's over making all kinds of stuff. And then we're actually going to Ren Fair in August, and she's making a Viking costume for me.
I thought you were buying it.
I'm buying parts of it. You're going to make the rest. And then she did, but she has to do really well because my ultimate costume is going to be Haley. You are not going to turn into a rebel side. Anyway,
it's all about the dark side.
I'm gonna have to go get my jacket on. I can see this right now. So hold on. You damn it, Haley.
Oh yeah. See, you've already got into where he's gonna go put the jacket on, and I know exactly which one he's gonna put on because I've seen the post with that too. Now, Haley, how are you gonna go with the rebel side on this? I mean, come on, dark side's more fun. There we go. Represent.
So now that I have a lead from my Star Destroyer, no, this is nerd, right? How much more nerdy do you get, right? The guy's got a Star Wars costume. But she's gonna make me a Doctor Von Doom. That's my ultimate comic book villain. And if you notice, though, I've never drawn him because I don't want to make him wrong. I like him so much that I don't want to draw him improperly, so that I don't give him the due that he's needs. So
that is interesting because that kind of makes sense in a way, though, because if you do draw him, and of course your own work, you're most critical about.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that if you look at it and you're critical about it all, by that time you're like, man, I just messed up a whole childhood fantasy of the best character ever, being drawn. And
yeah, it's just I don't have a lot of Superman drawings. It's the same thing. I have an iconic vision of what Superman is, and I've drawn him as like a comic character, but there's certain characters out there who I just see, and I just have this vision of them growing up, and I don't want to change that. Conan's another one. Mm-hmm. I collect Conan comics, and so there's certain things that I can't do. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. So, however, for you listeners, for the right price, I'll give it a shot. But yeah, it's definitely there's a bunch of stuff that I just haven't drawn yet. So,
and you're talking about your vision and doing things differently and wanting to put your own way of doing things. That's the next segue that I want to go into is the actual movies. I mean, you can tell. I mean, if you're blind, you can't see what's going on behind him and what he's shown off prior to and all. There's a lot of movie paraphernalia there, a lot. And he's got a little bit of a love for movies. So go ahead and tell me about this production company that you started up and what's going on with that.
Well, let's start with there's a horror aspect since it's Friday the 13th. I like horror movies. I also like things that provoke thought and aren't the same thing, right? They just put Firestarter out. No, it's already been done, right? One of my favorite movies was 2004's Shaun of the Dead, right? It's a classic in its own right because they took it and put a whole spin on the zombies. Things happen, and you're like, I didn't see that coming, right? Brazil is one of my favorite films.
Okay.
If you are under the age of 40, you've probably never seen it or heard of it. It is a Terry Gilliam mindfuck. that is worth the price of admission. Don't try to overanalyze it. I don't do drugs, but I'm sure if you did weed right before, you'd be mentally challenged afterwards. But I like them because they have you. They're thought provoking.
Right.
So I had some ideas, and my wife and I were talking, and we had some really cool story concepts. And we got. I know I'm getting there. She's coaching me. What she doesn't realize is my title says executive producer and hers says producer. So she's also the costume designer. So
she's going to come over there with the clackboard here in just a minute and go ahead and fix that.
We have them somewhere in here. So,
I'm giving him a look.
but anyway, yes, and if you want to see that look, it is my lady demon that I drew. You can find that. But we're so tired. Yeah, you do. But we're so tired of the same repetitive movies, right? That are, you can predict them. You watch it, you're done. Right. A lot of the TV series were like that too, right? So we came up with this idea, and we won't go into a lot of details because we want you really to follow it. But the concept of the series is called The Crossroad. Or crossroads, because in life we have proverbial crossroads, right? One of them is I met you, right, Phil?
Right.
Now, anybody who's watching this is part of that crossroad, right? So what do they do afterwards? Where do they go? What happens? How'd you get here, right? So there's all these what ifs. So that's a proverbial, but it's also a physical, right? So there's different layers, and then even inside of our own meta, we have our id is constantly. What do I do? How do I do this? Where did I come from? And then something will come out of nowhere, but it's triggered from something from way over here. So this series takes place in this universe, and each episode has a different genre. So the first one is like a dark thriller. The second one is a zombie slasher. The third one's a little bit more of a mind thriller. So it kind of goes through this, and the characters intertwine between them. And things from the third one actually have echoes in the first one, and there's little Easter eggs throughout it that tie them all together. So you can watch episode 1 of this series and say, this is good, I understand it, let's break it down and talk about it, right? You can do the same thing with episode 2, but now when you watch 2, number 1 has a different meaning.
Oh, yeah.
Now when you watch episode 3, and you don't watch 2, but you watch 1, it means one thing, but then watch 2, now it means something different. So as you add these to it, it opens up these tangents that all bring you back. And if you were to think about it, like you start at the top and all these tangents come out, well, at the end, they all come back to the top.
Right.
So the whole series will end in the beginning.
Nice.
So chronologically, where does it start? Does it start? How does it happen? So that's the mind thought on this one. So that's the concept. And the concept is these are actually a series of shorts. They're 30 to 32 minutes long. They end up becoming pilots. And there's a presentation lined up for the Netflix and HBO Max in 2023. So everything we're doing is to prep for that and do the presentation. They'll get a lot more. But if you were to draw what my mind sees when we do this, there's a meme of one of those guys, and he's like in front of the board with like strength. Like that's not even half of what goes on up here. And as a comic book guy and an artist, originally we were like, oh, this would be a good story. Excuse me, but the thing is, when you do art, everything's two-dimensional. So you see everything.
Right.
But to really psychologically play with your emotions and your feelings, you have to subconsciously see certain things that are happening in your peripheral that don't make sense until that all of a sudden is now a focus. And what was the focus is now a peripheral. And it makes you try to figure out what's what. So you can't do that 2D. You have to do it 3-dimensionally.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's
Oh, yeah.
the first one's called Carnationville.
Right.
The second one's called ZombieCon, and episode 3 is called The Storm. That's public knowledge. We are Two Pups Productions because I have a pup and Amy has a pup, so we got really super creative, and we are Two Pups Productions. Yeah, we're trying to make some magic.
Man, that is very cool. And you're actually in production and working on this as we speak, correct?
Yeah, we're in pre-production, and part of it we were moving forward. We had some kind of delays. We had a couple things going on, and it's still in process. But there's when we started this, it was how hard can this be? Until you start opening that onion, and you realize how hard it can be.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, we have the director is phenomenal. He's worked on as director for he was a stunt coordinator in Get Carter with Stallone. He's worked on Grey's Anatomy. He has a movie out called The Stairs. It's a horror. If you check it out, it is phenomenal.
I've seen that. Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So he directed and wrote that. Ryan Purcell is our director of photography, another award winner. The composer is an award winner. The editor has won numerous awards. He's worked on a couple of Marvel movies. So we're not doing like Billy Bob with an iPhone. Like, this is legit. Tom Sizemore from Saving Private Ryan and Black Hawk Down, USS Indianapolis. He's actually in the film. So it's a decent production. We're listed under SAG, so it's not. I have a philosophy: you can either do something half-assed and you're going to have half-assed results, or you can put a lot of time and effort into it, and then you can get a better result, right? You can. Right. So this isn't one to push and cut corners on. Unfortunately, this is needed for a lot of that. So, again, right here.
Exactly.
But it's such a fun thing, and it's not a me thing. My wife, we would draw stuff. I would write it, and then she would proof it, and hey, this doesn't make sense. And she actually has a scene in the film. And she's creating the costumes and how they work together, and why do we have this character? And then we went out on like set locations to go find locations, and we're out driving around, and we're like picking houses and knocking on, like, hi, here's my card, we're going to shoot a film, can we use your house? And they're like, sure. So there's all these different layers, but we're doing it as a team. I'm a little bit more of an A personality who puts it out there and does that, but she's definitely a driving force behind it. And then speaking of her, and I hope I'm just going to segue really quick. She's got her own comic book coming out in July, and yeah,
what?
So yes, so Amy has a book coming out in July. Is
Amy's going to be a guest. We're putting this out there right now. Amy will be a guest on the show.
So it is. I'll just tell you how it came about. Again, this is. A lot of creativity is just serendipity, right? I'm a big fan of Antarctic Press. I've done some stuff with Ben Dunn. Niobe Comics is there. Niobe just got printed in Antarctic Press.
Yes.
I have the first cover. Woohoo! Not
yes.
my own horn, but it's a beautiful cover.
And there, the exact same time you're saying, he puts it up here. Justin Hunt's cover coming out soon for Niobe, published by Antarctic Press. Yes.
Here you go. This is the metallic foil version.
Oh, here, full screen, full screen.
It's sweet.
Wow.
Yeah. So colors by Sanju. Awesome. I love the story. I also did a cover for Niobe Outbreak #1. Yep. That is a phenomenal cover, super fun. So anyway, they have a book that a lot of people forgot about, Warrior Nun. So Warrior Nun came out, and Warrior Nun years ago, right, as a comic. And then all of a sudden it just got waylaid to the wayside.
Exactly.
And then somebody somewhere said, hey, this would be a good TV series. And they turned it into a TV series.
Right.
So we started watching it. And one day Amy was like, hey, we're going to watch Ninja Witch. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? She goes, we're going to watch Ninja Witch. I'm like, what is Ninja Witch? She goes, you know, the thing. I was like, Warrior Nun? She's like, yeah, close enough. I'm like, no, it's not even the same thing. Like, it's not even the same, right? So anyway, so she kept calling it Ninja Witch jokingly. And I was like, just write a backstory. So she wrote a backstory. She has the whole history of how she became Ninja Witch, and she has a familiar named Belladonna, and who's a crow, and you know, all this other stuff. So I said, all right, well, I don't want to draw it. I have too much other stuff going on. So I've done some work with Max DeVille over at Atrocity Press.
Yep.
So we reached over to them and him and Johnny Reed and said, here's this. Here's the contract. Amy keeps all the IP. I get to be the art director for the covers. You guys do this. So they wrote a really cool story and script, and Amy got to be like, change this, do this. Here's how I wanted to feel. Kind of directed it. They've been sending us pages, and we're proofing them and looking at them and seeing her concept in her head turn into a book. So it'll hit Kickstarter in July. The covers are by Francisco, and I don't know his last name. I can't remember it, who does the interior art.
Okay.
I have a cover. Courtney Rose has a cover. Rob Hicks has a cover, and Mo Park.
Wow.
So those are the covers that are coming out. Bye, Haley. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye,
We know that
Haley.
you are 18 hours ahead of us, which mathematically is 6 hours behind plus 1 day.
Thank you, Haley.
It's like 1 o'clock. It's, I guess, in Melbourne, it's time for tea. So go have a spot of tea and off you go. Cheerios. You know, Max and his team are doing the story for it. July, we're going to start pushing it. The covers I've seen some behind the scenes. I have my covers done. Would you like to see it? No, you can't. You have to wait. And then, so also, I will do one thing though, because I'm that guy.
Oh boy, here we go. Not that burlesque marketing stuff that Tom does all the time with just a piece of the cover.
What? Me?
Let me give you full screen because I already know. Yep, exactly. Here we go.
There you go. Oh, there you go. All right. So anyway, I kind of went off reservation on mine. It's pretty cool. Mine has a very Blade Runner feel to it.
Ooh, nice.
And everybody else's ties into their strengths and what they draw and how they draw it. And Moog's is aesthetically so beautiful. It ties to a very particular part of the character development. Rob has a great one. Courtney did one. The eyes are so dynamic on the character. So yeah, I'm doing a cover for my wife's first comic book, who says she's not a nerd. However,
I'm not a nerd.
who has a comic coming in and who doesn't? So that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, she's going to be a guest. We're gonna have some fun with that conversation.
Yeah.
We'll have that question come up.
So it's a super fun, and in talking with Johnny and Max, her character is in the same universe as Mary Machine Gun, and will they meet in the future? I don't know. Maybe. So, but it's definitely a really cool character. I think people are going to like it. July, I think, is a targeted Kickstarter date. So we're building everything ahead of time, and then we're going to push that and, try to show support of a typically male dominant society of writing comics. Johnny and Max wrote the script, but it's the character created by a female, which is super cool. And it's really cool to see her get like excited. Like when Max sends a page over, she's like I'll be at my regular day job and she's blowing up my phone like, did you look? Did you look? I'm like, geez, I'm in like 4 conference calls. I'll check it in a second. But yeah, it's really cool to be a part of that with her. So, you know, between the comics that I work on, the covers I work on, the commissions I do, the movie production, and then Amy's book, and then she does her own sewing and crafting.
And work. I do have a day job.
She's got a day job. She works from home. So, but it's a really cool environment. So.
It sounds very cool with that. And I mean, I'm sure you gave her a great discount on your cover, right?
No, I'm working my butt off for that.
No.
So it's proof positive. Whenever you go to Justin for a cover, he doesn't do them just for free for everybody.
Nope.
And he ain't cheap.
What's that bumper sticker? Ass, grass, or ass? So no, it's a trade. She bought that.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Yeah.
So that was so fun too. I know I'm segue. Sorry guys, roll with it. I worked on a Saturday. So my day job is I'm a director of operations and facilities for the largest mall in the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm. So I was working on a Saturday and I was up in my office and I had gone down to the Lego store and they had one. And I came back and I was like, sent her message, hey, can I get the AT-AT? It's only one left. And she goes, well, I don't know. And I was like, it's only a couple bucks. And she goes, how many? So I told her it was like 800. And she's like, yeah, dropped the phone, ran, bought it, came back up. And I left the phone because I didn't want her to like, no, sorry, you already said yes. I'm off.
Exactly.
So, and then it was funny, like, I'm driving home today and I was talking to her about like different things. And I was like, yeah, I just got to get the Millennium Falcon. And she's like, did you? I was like, no, wait, can I? I'll turn around right now. So that's coming. So, yeah. So
I'm surprised we didn't get the story about you hitting the e-brake right then and doing a UE right in the middle of the freeway and just heading back there.
I didn't, but the only time I've used the e-brake on my car is we're at a friend's house and there was a Dairy Queen 2 miles or 3 miles down the road. We had 4 minutes to get to Dairy Queen before they closed. And we were driving. I was slightly exceeding the speed limit in a 40. But we got in, and just to pull into the parking lot, I locked up the e-brake and spun the car into a drift to get into the parking lot, pulled in just as the clock hit and we got our order in. So
that's like a milestone. You just want to put that up somewhere where you have that. Yeah, I got in just on time. That was perfect.
Her son brings it up.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He thinks it's one of the. It's like, we can make the Dairy Queen. You only need 4 minutes.
Oh, that's parenting done right there.
Yeah. So.
Well, okay, we're about out of time on this
Sure.
for tonight. I don't want to keep you too late because I know you've got Legos to play with and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
But before we go, since it is Friday the 13th, I got to make it official. What's your favorite Friday the 13th movie?
I've only seen the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I've only seen
Like
the first one.
original or the remake?
The original, and I saw it in a drive-in, and right after that was Curse of the White Serpent. So it was definitely a kind of night growing up.
And the first one wasn't even the real screwed up. I mean, it led you into the storyline of it. 2 was the one where they really just messed with your mind on that one.
Yeah, the first one was still, because when that came out, I grew up in a part in New Jersey at the time that looked like that neighborhood. So my parents had a rule that when the lights flickered, you had 15 minutes. I want to say for like 3 months after that, I was home before the lights even flickered. Like, I was not playing. So Friday the 13th. Now there's a Saturday the 14th, which is a horror comedy.
Yep.
That I absolutely thought was good. Far as those kind of mind games, Evil Dead's probably one of my favorites. The original. Pandemonium is is a stupid horror film. But my all-time favorite horror movie is without a doubt. I watched it in Iraq. Lights out, nothing, like totally dark, right? On my screen, the original Japanese The Grudge.
Oh, Ju-on.
Yes. And if you watch that, you do not ride in an elevator for a while. You do not turn off lights. You do not that movie.
No,
Hits you here and here, like so many ways.
They didn't use special effects. They hired a freaking spirit or ghost or entity or whatever that was. I mean, that's the only way that it could have done the things that it was doing in there. That was all kinds of messed up.
Yeah. So far, like Friday the 13th for me, that's a movie. I think I've seen it 1.5 times. So my wife's big into horror movies, so we've watched the Annabelle series and Conjuring stuff, and what's the witch, the nun. Her mom's into them too. Amy is a witch, so it's very you are. So her son.
You're confusing witch and bitch.
Her son is convinced that she's a witch, but it's absolutely love that stuff. And then when you watch the films we're working on, they're not horror shows, but there's an element. I don't think horror is all slash and gore because there's a gore level, but the horror, like The Cell, to me is a horror movie. And those are the kinds I like. I like it when you go to lay down at bed at night and you start thinking, and then you're like, why did I do this? Right. So some of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so over the top, and like The Hills Have Eyes are so over the top, and The Saw is like, I don't know, that's not going to happen. But some of this stuff, when it's a psychological mind bend, you just, So
absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, I actually laughed through, I think it was like Saw 6 or 7. I don't know how many they're up to now, but I was in the theater laughing, and people that were in there sitting around me were kind of looking at me like, why are you laughing? This is the worst thing ever. And I'm like, it's because it's funny. I mean, you can see what's going to happen automatically. And then they didn't even put that much of a budget into the special effects to make it look that good. I mean, you could tell it was like ketchup and pieces of stuff going out of there. And it was like, oh, come on, really?
But the thing is, right, you still paid for it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, and that's kind of back to the film, the show, the Carnationville, is people are still paying for this stuff, right?
Yep.
What can we create something different? Like we loved Squid Game because it was different, right? So we want that kind of feel, and I think that people in general, as much as the world has its crazy and sucks and everything, we like that, right? We like dirty laundry. We like it happening to everybody but us, right? The Purge is great to watch as long as you're not the guy who's in the house when they come in, right? But I don't know. I think that's why, like, Rob Zombie, I think, the fact that he's doing the Munsters now is, I want to see it. Or Addams Family. He's doing Addams Family. Excuse me. No, Munsters.
No, it's Munsters. Yeah, it's Munsters.
Yeah. But like, I want to see that because I don't think he's going to do it. It's not going to be a House of 1,000 Corpses or like the Wax Museum or something, right? But it's going to have something that's going to make you question something.
Right.
And but it's unique, right? He's not doing it the same way.
Exactly.
So I think that's good. And I think that's what we in general need, is to keep that stimuli going. So, and I just want to officially say welcome back, Phil. I know you've been taking care of some stuff personally as well. So welcome back. It's good to see you in the circuit. It's good to see you. And eventually, hopefully I get to see you one-on-one at a show. And whenever that happens. So, and to everybody who's watching tonight, I don't know how many you are on, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to us ramble. Go on I always screw this up. Go on to my Instagram, check it out. Check out Mary Machine Gun. Number 3 is coming out. Niobe Outbreak. The Origins trade paperback is out. War Angels is out by Mountaineer Press that I have stuff on. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff out there. So go out there, support an indie comic. Even if you never heard of the guy, spend $15, get a comic from somebody, and then give them feedback.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. And thank you for being my guest on this special for tonight. Like I said, there's only one Friday the 13th this entire year, so you just got this for 2022. So that's
nice.
Your name all over that one.
Awesome.
That's right up there with 4 minutes to Dairy Queen.
Yes. So, and before you jump off, I think I have one canvas print that, since it's a horror talk.
Okay.
You might have seen this one. So first we'll show you the magical witch, right? This is a witch I did.
Give you full screen. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is for Mountaineer Press, Mountaineers West, rather, Middle Ground series, which takes the and keep me on full because I got one more. It follows the European settlers coming to the Jamestown settlement, and the middle ground is the European demons and spirits coming to fight the North American native spirits. Super cool. A lot of Wendigos and stuff. Now this one, I'm not even going to introduce it.
Oh, yeah.
So this is actually Wes Hartman did the colors on this one for me, but this is all quill and brush, the ink work on it. So
wow. That is awesome.
So if you look like here, all the lines are going this way because we did it because I wanted him to draw the glow from behind the spider.
Right. That is awesome.
So I don't always draw boobs. So.
Oh, no, you've got a lot more on your plate than just the boobs. I mean, there's some out there, but still, there's a lot more that's on there that you have available. And if you're interested, like I said, all of his links are in the feed. If you still need help getting to him, just message me. Let me know. I will get you in touch with him. No problem whatsoever. And until then, we're going to go ahead and shut this one down for tonight. But enjoy your Friday the 13th. Make sure that you're not out making out or doing anything you're not supposed to. You still got till midnight tonight. So if you're planning on sleeping out there in a sleeping bag and doing some things you're not supposed to, I wouldn't. So until next time, we'll catch you around. Thank you, Justin.